geez, it's kind of just like dusty down here. It's been a while. I mean, getting back in this thing, it's just like I mentioned to you a moment ago, is you're banging away at things like trying to get the Falcon up and running. We're trying to escape Hoth just to give people a show.
I mean, she may not look like much, but she's got to where it counts, kid. Come on.
All right, here we are. Hey, how's it going?
It goes. Let me hit it again real quick.
And I'm gone. And I'm back. She's still got a few surprises left in her, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it. It's a cheap headphone adapter anyway.
It's served us well in the past. That's fine.
People are here for the quality content.
They are. And you always make it sound so nice in post. So there you go.
Let's spit shine this bad boy.
How's it going?
Hi,
we're back. It's been a hot couple months. Last time we did an episode was July.
So
yes.
what is this, November?
Yes.
It's about 4 months.
Yeah.
We're a quarterly at best podcast at this point.
Life finds a way to keep us busy.
Oh, and how?
Yes.
And yet, if you were to ask me, what's been going on, I don't have a good answer.
Yeah, I mean it's it's kids, man.
Yeah,
they take up a lot of time.
Yeah, especially once they're mobile.
Yep.
I mean, I was riding high when dude was just stationary. I could put him in the little rocker and come down here and record
take
stuff.
Take care of some stuff and
nope, not no more.
Nope. Like
now he's everywhere, and it's entertain him all the time, and pick him up and put him down and let him run. But we're not here for that.
No, we're here for the people.
We're here for the
people who have been demanding our return. For numerous subjects,
demanding,
most of which we probably won't cover on the show today.
We're here for the big stuff.
We're here for the big stuff. So, how has your months
for the months now? Months have been fine. We just we just summed it up. It's been a constant hashtag dad life existence. Yeah. So
anything of major note?
Personally, no, not really. I'm in a holding pattern. Stay on target.
Yep.
Watch over the boy. I'm still slowly progressing on that old Long Cold Dark Album, hashtag TLCD 2020. Fingers crossed.
hashtag Chinese democracy too.
If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I actually hashtag Chinese democracy on anything band related. So, it's coming along.
Can I say something about Chinese democracy?
Sure.
It's not a horrible album.
That might be, but it okay, let's, as a point of comparison.
Okay.
Chinese democracy took a legendary amount of time to complete, right?
Yes.
And then at the end of the day, it came out and like 3 people really cared.
Yeah. Okay. I think Spaghetti Incident came out in 93.
Okay.
And then Chinese Democracy came out in...
So wait,
2011?
The Use Your Illusions were post or pre Spaghetti Incident?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Spaghetti Incident, there was Spaghetti Incident, and then there was a track on the End of Days soundtrack.
Oh, I remember that.
And that was it. That was just...
Okay, well, just as a point of comparison, because it's really the only comparison I have, Tool dropped a record in August.
Yes.
And that was 14 years coming. 13 years coming. So a Guns N' Rosian level of time had passed. And by my own account and most people everywhere's account, the Tool record is phenomenal. So, kind of a different vibe there.
Yeah, Chinese Democracy was 2008.
Okay. So a similar amount of time.
Yes, indeed.
And one flopped and one has put the Tool back on the map in a big bad way.
Cool.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good record. Saw him live. I saw him live this month, about 3 weeks ago in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and they were incredible as they always are.
How? Because I know the new album was not a traditional album.
It was. I mean, the songs are so long. There was only 8 songs on it. So
yeah.
I mean, that's
So
an album.
How at the concert? Like, how much of the new stuff did they do?
They played 5 new songs, mostly new songs, actually.
Cool.
And just a few older ones, which, somewhat disappointing. Yet they're so good, and I like the new album so much that it's like, you know what, this is fine. I've seen them before.
It's been so like few and far between. You're just like, we will take what we can get.
Well, there's definitely that. In fact, as I'm sitting there enjoying the show, there is that part of me. Even when I got the album, brought it home. Jason Oberg came over. We hung out, did a listening session, listened to it twice, of course. And not a second goes by where I didn't have that thought in my head like, this could be it. So I'm taking this in, and I'm enjoying it. So when you go 13 years between records at the age that those guys are, the possibility is always there that this might be it. So enjoy it. Enjoy it while it's here.
So it's Wednesday night. It is 10:15ish.
I don't even know. Sure.
The Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So if you're listening to this while you're prepping your meal on Thanksgiving,
no, people are out partying, man.
No, while they're prepping their meal on Thanksgiving Day, happy Thanksgiving.
I'm not going to have this up tomorrow.
Okay.
Black Friday, maybe.
Black Friday, maybe. Okay. So we just got done, and one of the big things that happened since we last spoke to people, we just got done watching AEW Dynamite.
AEW is a thing now.
AEW is a thing. AEW is launched. I am watching every week. I'm enjoying it. How do you think we're about 2 months in?
Yep, it premiered in early October.
How do you feel it's going?
Great. It's going great. It's a shot in the arm that the wrestling world needed, and they are delivering every week a fun, entertaining show with new people that you may not have seen before, and the ones you have seen before, they're doing new stuff and keeping it fresh and interesting. So it's great, and they don't skimp on quality of matches. They don't. I mean, it's a quality product that doesn't waste your time. I think that's that's what wrestling needs right now, because WWE has a lot of time on the air every week, and I feel like they waste a lot of that time every week.
Yeah, it's because, like, what is it? SmackDown's 2 hours.
2, Raw's an unbearable 3, and now NXT, also on Wednesday nights, is now 2 hours when it used to be 1, and they moved it to Wednesday night to combat AEW, and they moved it to USA Network, I should say. It was already on Wednesdays, but it was on the network taped. Now it's live on Wednesdays, and it's 2 hours in the same block of time as AEW, because AEW got the Wednesday night time slot on TNT.
Gotcha.
Vince's pettiness knows no bounds. So the Wednesday night war, air quotes, is a thing now. I don't particularly care. My channel stays on TNT Wednesday nights. I don't watch NXT anymore at all, to be honest with you, which does bum me out a little bit, but given WWE's, frankly, the product stinks, and it could get better. Hopefully, that in an ideal world, having competition, real competition again, will make them get better. But at the end of the day, I just don't feel good anymore about supporting them as a company. Full stop. So, viva AEW, and as always, viva NJPW forever. So
all right.
That's just. But yeah, AEW is great. If they could do anything better, I mean, there's little things I can nitpick in time. Hopefully they can square that stuff up. Just production stuff and timing, finishes, whatever. Fingers crossed someday for that NJPW collaboration, but for the time being, no, that won't be a thing. So we'll see what happens, but that's okay. There's room for everything, and it's been fun. I'm glad you're enjoying it, because it's a fun show, and wrestling needs lapsed and new fans to be on board with something that is not Vince Land.
Right.
So
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Fun times.
What else is going on? I'm telling you, not a lot.
Yeah.
Played. Link's Awakening came out for the Switch.
Yeah.
I beat that. It's great. The Untitled Goose Game came out. I beat that. It's great. If you haven't played the Untitled Goose Game, play the Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah, you showed it to me. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to play this.
You should, though.
But I get it.
You really should. It's fun.
I can clearly see why it has the appeal that it does.
It's a brilliantly designed puzzle game where you get to be a complete jerk goose. It's awesome. And I started as of this week, actually, you're going to laugh. I started a new Breath of the Wild game.
Like fresh?
Yeah, fresh save. Yep, from the beginning.
Well, I mean, if you don't really have anything else that you're playing,
250 hours wasn't enough. I'm going back for more.
Yeah. The poor people of Hyrule just waiting around for you to get around to saving them.
In fairness,
because you got to go find a blue boomerang.
In fairness,
that's slightly different from the red boomerang you have
in the game. They've been waiting 100. They've been waiting 100 years since the catastrophe. They can wait 230 more hours. It's fine.
Oh, that's hysterical.
That really.
You've been.
That's really it.
Have you been reading anything, like
no.
comic wise?
No.
Keeping up on anything?
No.
I've been keeping up on my normals. You know what? Actually, it's funny. I say this and it sounds ridiculous because it's a comic book. But I started but didn't finish the first issue of The Question, the death of Vic Savage.
Sage. Yeah.
Sage. Really good.
Okay.
Really good. It's my first Black Label purchase. I love the physical format of the books.
Okay.
They're really they're a larger size and it's a really feels good. But, who was it? Bill Sienkiewicz.
Bill Sienkiewicz do the artwork?
Yeah. Doing the artwork.
So it looks phenomenal, I'm
Jeff
sure.
Lemire writing.
That's a collaboration.
Yeah. So it's solid. What else? There's some fun offshoot. Oh, there's a new He-Man limited series started at DC called He-Man Masters of the Multiverse.
Oh.
And first issue, who shows up but movie He-Man?
Oh, Dolph Lundgren himself.
Yep.
Wow.
With the Cosmic Key, and Gwildor makes an appearance. And
so, given that, will we see Frank Langella Skeletor?
Fingers crossed, my friend. Fingers crossed.
Because if he shows up, the series over. He wins. It's done. Yep. Hey, I was talking to you about Record Store Day.
You were?
Early, yeah, I think I was.
We've spoken about it at some point, but not.
Well, Black Friday is Record Store Day. One of the records. There's two. There's Black Friday, then there's the normal Record Store Day. So I'm going out Friday morning to the record store very early to line up to buy some records. One of the records that's going to be available is the Bill Conti Masters of the Universe score on vinyl.
Ooh.
I haven't thought of, I'm not sure if I'm going to pick that up, but it's there.
I remember parts of it.
Okay. Well, that's not quite enticing enough for me to go buy a copy necessarily, but
I mean, how much are we talking?
Probably $25, $30.
Get that. Get that.
I've got 4 other records I got to buy, dude. That's a $200 day.
Well, now it's $225 day, sir.
You're not wrong.
Priorities.
I'm
trying to think game-wise, I primarily have just been playing, actually, Star Wars Battlefront, only because William wants me to play it.
Likes the Star Wars, does he?
Oh, yes.
Very nice.
Oh, yes.
Very nice.
He comes home, he's like, Dada, you play X-Wings? I'm like, yes. Yes, we will. So I have not had a chance to get Fallen Order yet.
I hear it's good.
I've heard nothing but good things about it. So
I mean, good but not great. But even that is no, it's good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So
Metroidvania-esque, from what I've been told.
Ooh. That's Drew's sweet spot.
I know. There. You tell me that, I'm gonna perk up a little bit. Did I tell you? Speaking of Metroidvanias, in the interim of our little hiatus here, I have beaten also Guacamelee 2.
Ooh,
Thumbs up. Great game.
Nice.
If you can get 1 and 2 on a Switch cartridge for $40 at the store.
cool.
Recommended. Get them. Guacamelees are great games. And there was another one that I beat that I loved a lot. Oh crap. Bloodstained Symphony of the Night. I'm sorry. Ritual of the Night. Pardon me. Pardon me. Freudian slip, because basically it's Symphony of the Night.
Gotcha.
It's Symphony of the Night with a little mustache on its finger going, I'm not Symphony of the Night.
it's
I'm
Bloodstained.
completely different.
Bloodstained, Don Incognito.
There's been a lot of controversy about the Switch version because it wasn't the performance of the Switch version was not really up to snuff. Frame rates were bad,
Right.
etc. But having said that, I beat it just fine,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed it just fine. As of a few weeks ago, the big fix patch dropped, and it plays a lot better now. Like it's a lot smoother than it was, and I didn't really have a problem with it before, but it's better now. So if you've been reluctant to buy the Switch version of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, now is the time, because the patch is out and it's actually really good, and it's a great game. If you like Metroidvania games, it's from one of the guys who co-founded the genre essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, go for it. It's fun. It's
Nice. I mentioned this to you upstairs, I will probably be picking up the most recent Call of Duty on Black Friday because it's pretty much half price everywhere.
Sure.
And I played the beta, and it was really good. It was really solid. They're basically rebooting Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
And it felt very much like Modern Warfare, which is a good thing.
Sure.
So I'll probably be getting that. Like some other stuff will probably just go on the old Christmas / birthday list.
I think
Luigi's Mansion, Fallen Order.
the only thing that's on my Christmas list game-wise, I think, is going to be The Outer Worlds
Okay.
from Obsidian. They made Fallout New Vegas, and apparently The Outer Worlds is like
I've seen little mentions of that here and there.
it's the RPG that we need right
Yeah.
now. So I hear great things about it. It's Mass Effect-y, it's Fallout-y.
Yeah.
It speaks my language. So
Gotcha.
and it's got some political commentary, which again, it speaks my language.
Yeah.
So give me
Yeah.
that. I think I'm gonna shoot for that for Christmas, because frankly, like I said, I'm playing Breath of the Wild right now, and I have nothing else to play because of a certain game that I should be playing right now got delayed until March. We didn't talk about this because it happened after the last show. Doom Eternal was supposed to be out by now, and I have to wait till March.
Would you rather get a bad game now or a good game later?
Good game later,
There you
10
go.
times out of 10.
Yep.
So I'll allow it, but Doom though.
But Doom.
I miss Doom. I love
That
Doom
Doom.
so much. You know what else comes out the same day as Doom Eternal?
What's that?
Animal Crossing for Switch.
That
Duality of man, Carl. Duality of man.
you, sir.
I'm gonna slay some demons in brutal, grotesque fashion, and then I'm gonna go chill out in my village and fish.
I have no desire. I don't understand the appeal of Animal Crossing. I have no desire to find out. I live a life where I wake up, go to work, and do adult things. I don't need to play a video game where I just do those same things.
Totally
over again,
fair.
just as an animal.
Totally fair.
All right. So it's been like we said, it's been a hot minute, month, what have you, folks. We appreciate you popping back with us to listen. We did, post on the social medias that we were going to be getting together tonight to record an episode. And some of you wonderful faithful sent us some emails. And if I can get my phone to unlock, we can go through those emails. All righty. We'll just go in order of which I received them. First off, starting out with Alan, Sleepy Time Waiters. Because somebody got some Z's during the AEW Dynamite.
We'll post the picture on our
Yep.
Facebook page.
Yeah, pictures will be on. Oh boy, might be our new profile picture.
Could be.
You
It
never
could
know,
be.
people. You never know.
Alan's sweating right now.
Okay. Alan writes, after what feels like an eternity, glad you're back, gents. I want to give a special Thanksgiving shout out to my fellow emailer, J. Gelsomino. Carl and Drew, in your opinion, are you shocked many people didn't know about the Black Wall Street Massacre? Do you think that racism, being a central theme, made the show Watchmen better, especially with Angela's character in Hooded Justice? Now, we are going to be...
We're going to
spoilers,
address all
folks.
of that.
This episode is to discuss... This episode will be called Watchmendalorian.
Yes, it's a play on words.
It's a play on words.
Remind me before I forget, before I put the episode up. The title of that.
Watchmendalorian.
Yes.
So, I personally did not know about the
Nor
Black
did
Wall
I.
Street Massacre. I was like...
Nope, me neither.
Oh,
And
it seemed-
in fairness to us, based on the Google Trends, no one did.
Right,
Well,
right.
again, no white people did.
Yeah. It seemed like when I was watching it, I'm like, this is probably like inspired by something that happened, but like the lengths it was going, I'm like, they're probably, but no.
No, this is accurate.
Yeah.
that happened. That happened. So now I do know. And so does everyone else. And if that doesn't stick with you and affect you, then I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
So, and to answer Alan's question before we get into the details later, nope, didn't know about it. Do know about it now.
Yep.
And we're going to get into all that business with Watchmen.
Yes. Carl, J.J. Abrams recently did an interview and said that Palpatine coming back was always the plan. Do you think the new Star Wars would be better had they not killed Snoke and not bring Palpatine back? I mean, it's tough to say because I don't... Ask me this question after December 22nd. Because, you know, and we've had these discussions in our chats and whatnot going forward. And, you know, if you've listened to the show, you know that whereas Drew and I both love Star Wars, we love it in very different ways.
Sure.
Drew's love focuses primarily on the classic films.
Yep.
And most of what has just come out in theaters. My love is for the world, for the, like, all these stuff that comes along with that, television shows, whatnot. Nice thing about Disney Plus is I get to watch Rebels, which is very good. Really, like that. The bridge between episodes 3 and 4 is very well handled throughout this. You know, we both loved Last Jedi. I don't think either one of us really have a problem with how they handled Snoke, because it was essentially how they handled the Emperor in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Snoke actually had more screen time than the Emperor did in the original
You know
trilogy.
what you need to know.
Yeah. As far as bringing Palpatine back, like, even I was like, do we have to?
That's my reaction as well. And when he said, so Alan said that JJ said that was always the plan. Insert GIF here of Ron Burgundy lighting the cigarette. I don't believe you.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I gotta see the movie before I'd say, you know.
That's next month.
It is next month. It's less than a month.
It doesn't feel that way.
It really doesn't.
But more to say on this later. But
yes,
more to say on this later.
It's starting to become real that this,
I guess,
this central story that has been so pivotal.
Yeah.
When
we talk about Mando, we'll talk about Star Wars as a whole a little bit. But
right.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't feel that weight yet. So anyway, moving on.
Drew.
Yeah.
AEW is hitting it out of the park.
It is.
In your unbiased opinion, what is making them successful, and will finally light a fire in WWE?
Will it light a fire? Not until they. I mean, it'll change things a little bit, and business wise, it's already changing things.
It'll light a fire once it starts to chew into the pocketbook.
Right. Exactly. Which it kind of is, in that everyone on the roster now can command more money because AEW has forced their hand to pay guys better. But like, wait, I'm sorry. What was this question? Is going to force WWE? Yeah, when it hits them in the pocket, they'll
What
do
is
stuff.
making AEW successful?
Oh, that's simple. Trusting talent, and not only trusting talent, but not belittling and undermining their audience. Trusting their audience's intelligence and not insulting it, and delivering on promises week to week, month to month, feud to feud, long term, short term, and long term. That's what they're doing right. They don't forget storylines. They don't treat the fan like they're an idiot, and they let talent be themselves, and they trust their talent to deliver, and the talent does. They don't send their guys out there with scripts of lines their talent doesn't believe, and they don't change the show week to week on the whims of a 73-year-old man who can't remember anything. They run a tight ship. Everything matters, and they trust their audience, and they trust their talent, and they deliver.
All right.
That's as succinctly as I can put it.
Works for me.
And none of that, by the way, has to do with in-ring ability or anything.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is also great in AEW. But
Indeed.
That's not why they're succeeding.
All right. Also, we haven't done a game night in a millennium.
I know.
We need to rectify this. Plus, your viewers need to know the hot games. You should have a show on your favorite games to play.
Oh,
Alan, it took us. We haven't done this since July. You want us to start a spinoff show?
I know the games that Alan, you weren't here, but Alan brought over a few games about a month or two ago.
Yeah.
And
we are going to get our question in regards to board games.
Okay, cool.
So
all right, I'll put a button in that.
Hold that one. Speaking of which, bringing us to our next question asker, Mr. Adam Williams.
Yay.
I am so excited to see a reunion of the two of the finest geek minds the world has ever known.
Yes, stroke the ego.
Valid. Some questions for you. Best board game you have played since your last recording? As you were saying.
Again, I don't remember the names of these.
One was called Welcome To.
Yes, the neighborhood game.
Yes.
Hated it when we started it. I could not wrap my brain around it in the first several turns, and I was getting frustrated. By the end of the game, I fully understood how to play the game, and I think I won the game. And I really, really enjoyed it by the end. Playing it again, knowing how to play it, I think I'd enjoy it even more. Welcome To is a new favorite.
Yeah,
good game.
We played it at the last Duty Dice Day, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, that was great. And there was another one he brought over the same night. I forgot what it was.
Is it Draftosaurus?
Yes, Draftosaurus. It's a good game.
I haven't played it. I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a good game. Quick, but playable. So you can play 3-4 games of it in an hour. Like it's a good 15-20 minutes at a time, and it's great.
Cool.
Not super difficult to pick up, but good mechanics, and it's just fun.
So, you know how we are like to play the Marvel Legendary game?
Oh, we do. Right? Yes, we do. Yeah. We never win.
No. Well, I won once.
Technicality, but yes.
So, a new Marvel card game has come out, somewhat in the vein of Legendary. It's called Marvel. I think they just called it Contest of Champions or Marvel Champions something.
Oh, okay.
It's an LCG, which stands for Living Card Game, which means like there's the core set and there's expansions. Mm-hmm. So, but like in the expansions, the same stuff comes in every pack. It's not like Magic where you have to like you're blind buying packages hoping to get cards. Like before an expansion comes out, it's like, okay, these are the cards that are going to be in that pack. Like one of the expansions is like a Green Goblin scenario expansion comes with cards. So it's a co-op card battle game. So, but like think more along the lines of, because you're teaming up with everyone to play out a scenario. So think more along the lines of Legends.
All right.
And so instead of like buying cards, you already have your deck.
Okay.
So it's kind of going on my list for the holidays, so we'll see what happens.
All right.
Best game I've played since we last recorded, I have to say, is probably Star Wars Outer Rim.
Yeah.
The first playthrough I did of it was here at a game night, and obviously with any game, a first playthrough is never smooth.
It wasn't, but I think we all liked it.
I don't think Alan was too crazy on it.
Oh, I liked
it. Alan tends to not like games that dice decide possible outcomes.
I like dice.
Which I get. But no, I think I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's very flavorful in what they've done with it. Like, it's not just like slapped on Star Wars stuff. There's like really cool things in it. It's kind of like a sort of a pick up and deliver game, but with different elements to it. I like the fact that it's just dealing with like the Outer Rim smuggling, scum and villainy type characters.
Yeah, and I think I mechanically I thought it was good too, though.
Yeah. The biggest drawback in the game is like it. Depending on if you're playing a full game, it's about a 2-3 hour game.
Yeah,
and the biggest drawback in the game is that the time between turns.
So it can be lengthy.
Be a little much.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that's really, I've enjoyed watching it. His next question is there anything better than watching a Jawa vaporize? Yes. Adam,
we'll get to that.
Pretty much anything. Damn, Adam's sadistic.
I mean, I enjoyed it, but moving
on. Any chance the podcast could come back in monthly installments? I don't want to say there's no chance.
It could, but face to face, maybe not. And that's really you like doing it this way.
I prefer face to face. I think we lose something
over the Skypes.
In Skype.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But it could be done that way.
Yeah.
But I feel you.
He says, thanks, friends. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Adam. We appreciate it. Now, lastly, Mr. J. Gelsomino.
Oh.
Drew and Carl, would you rather see Baby Yoda in the Watchmen universe or naked Jeremy Irons in The Mandalorian?
Give me naked Jeremy Irons in The Mandalorian, you cowards. And don't stop at Mandalorian. Put him in the main trilogy.
I mean, what's he doing? Is he just walking around naked? I mean,
he's getting a thigh massage from a clone trooper.
Oh my. Yeah, I'll go with Jeremy Irons too.
See?
Drew.
Uh-huh.
Who do you see leaving Wrestle Kingdom with both belts?
Oh man. This can go in so many directions. All right, look. Seeing as Naito has been pooped on for so long now, and he has been the one who's been consistently over with the audience, internationally, mind you, and he's the one who first pitched the idea of the double champion, it has to be Naito. Having said that, Gedo probably is not going to make that happen. He's gonna throw salt in all of our faces and laugh at us and laugh at our tears, and it'll be Jay White. So, should be Naito, but it'll be Jay White.
Okay.
Carl.
That's
the sound of Jay laughing and crying in agreement, knowing that I'm right now. By the way,
Carl. Do we see Hooded Justice fighting off the Shark's mother soon?
The what?
Hooded Justice in the series played by Louis Gossett Jr. Of Jaws 3 fame.
Is that a spoiler? It's a spoiler. It's a big spoiler.
Well, yeah.
Here we are. Okay, fair enough.
That's it. Maybe you don't know with this show.
Will we see Hooded Justice flying a plane?
F-16.
Yeah.
Never Say Die. Iron Eagle. That's another thing that happened since we last recorded.
What's that?
We got a trailer for Top Gun 2.
Oh, wow. That did happen, didn't it?
Yeah. Looks good. Looks solid.
Of course it does. I hope Val Kilmer's okay. I hope he's in the movie.
All right. So, folks, thanks everyone for your questions. We appreciate it. Let's get on to the business at hand. So we're going to be well, first off, we should put out the spoiler warning.
Of course. It's
spoilers, yada yada.
That's why we're here.
Where do you want to start? Do you want to start in a galaxy far, far away, or do you want to start a little closer to home?
Let's do the galaxy far, far away.
Okay. So I feel before we get into Mandalorian, we should discuss for a moment the Disney Plus launch.
It launched.
It did launch.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. Little bit of hiccups on launch day, which is to be expected with anything that much in demand.
Okay.
Many onslaughts of words.
I know. And I only say this. I say this as a fan of what I'm about to talk about, but also I feel like people will understand where I'm coming from. Okay, you launch the app.
Right.
Across the top, you've got the big banner of like something featured, which currently is Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And then below that, you've got the big banner of the separate properties that are like the primary drivers of this service. I got a bone to pick with that.
Okay.
So the big buttons are Disney, obviously, Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, and Nat Geo. There's 5 buttons. Those are the 5.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, there's a 6th thing there that I really feel like should be there, seeing as it constitutes 30 years of programming and a major cultural milestone franchise. Even if it's been bad for a long time by many accounts, it's still something that I think is being undersold here.
Okay.
The Simpsons on the app, you really have to dig to find.
Yeah.
It's not just there like, oh, The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like, no, you have to like look for it.
And
it doesn't fall under, sorry to interrupt you. It doesn't fall under any of those 5 things.
Right.
So, like, again, you have to know to look for The Simpsons.
Right.
And that's kind of weird, I guess. I'm a Simpsons fan, so to me, it's kind of like...
No, it makes sense. Like, it's on, like, you know how they got that big banner thing that, like, switches every couple seconds?
Right, but if you're not...
It's on one of those.
Fine, but I'm looking at the below that, and it should have its own big button, like, right next to Nat Geo or something, like The Simpsons.
I get what you're saying. I agree with you. You know, as far as the app itself is...
It's fine.
Is super bare bones. Like, there was some basic stuff that it didn't even have day one that it has since added.
Like, continue watching.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, super bare bones stuff. It's very similar to the Netflix app. Well, very similar just in its overall appearance.
It doesn't autoplay annoyingly, thankfully.
Right, that's true.
Netflix can go to hell with that.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, that bothers me.
But it's functional.
It's fine.
It's
an app.
The content's there. The content could be better organized.
I had to laugh at it wants to be Netflix so bad, and yet for all the content that is on Disney Plus, when you start trying to break it into these weird categories, you realize how little there is. Like, I went into Star Wars. I clicked the Star Wars button.
Yeah.
And then in Star Wars, it tries to give you those like broken down categories. Is like, oh, this might be better.
Yeah.
This might be better for you. But you look at it, it's like, yeah, it's all the same stuff, dude. I know. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. There's this many movies and there's a couple shows. You can only organize that stuff in so many ways in a category to make me to like sell me. I know what it is. I'll find it. Don't worry. Yeah, that amused me.
But I think overall, like, again, super cheap.
Yeah.
Works fine.
It's fine.
It's it's giving us good stuff now and good stuff to come. So
I'm here for the Marvel stuff in 2020. But I'm staying for the Mandalorian right now.
Yes. So let's get to the Mandalorian.
Should we recap our initial impressions leading up to the Mandalorian? Because I think we talked about it a little bit when it was announced.
Yeah.
And I think I was sort of cold on it. I was kind of like, oh, look, it's Red Boba Fett.
Yeah, like the first teaser didn't do much for you.
Right.
But when we got the first full trailer,
I was way
you
more...
you saw like, stormtrooper helmets on pikes and Carl Weathers.
That's all it took.
That's it. That's all it took.
Carl Weathers showed up, and I'm here for this.
So...
Does he get a wooden hand at some point in the show?
Does he greet the Mandalorian with the mightiest of handshakes?
Oh, why didn't that happen? That should have happened.
I know.
Missed opportunities.
Yeah. But yeah, you were definitely much more interested on the first full trailer.
Yeah.
And then it came out, and like Al and I got Disney Plus, and we were watching.
You guys were there day
like,
one.
We're like, this is great and everything, and you were just kind of like, wait.
I don't know. I waited, and then on the third week, I'm like, all right, there's 3 episodes up. That's a solid hour and a half of a sit down I can watch. So I pulled the trigger, and I'm glad I did. It's good.
Yeah, it's
a good show.
Yeah,
you're here for our opinion on the Mandalorian. It's good.
It's good. It's good.
It's good. But obviously I'm gonna elaborate.
Getting into the finer points, some things that struck me right off the bat. Probably first and foremost was episode runtime.
Shorter than I would like.
Much shorter, but you say shorter than you would like, but
there's no fluff.
Keeps it really tight.
Yes, there's no wasted time.
Yeah,
it's tight.
Like we love us some Netflix Marvel.
Yeah, but think of how many episodes were just wastes of time.
That mid-season slump.
For real.
Where we're just like, all right,
you're padding this out here.
Luke got a cup of coffee. We don't mean that kind of coffee. We mean like he's sitting in Starbucks.
He's sitting at Starbucks
sipping on
coffee.
A latte.
They're talking and they're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
on a farm. Oh boy.
Right. I don't think you're really going to have that with this.
No, it doesn't seem that way.
Because there's 8 episodes, 30 to 45 minute runtime.
Yeah.
They might go longer for the finale and whatnot. And there's still like a lot of stuff that we saw in the trailers that got us excited we have not seen yet.
Yeah.
So I really like if you were to tell me initially that, hey, you're getting the Star Wars show, but the episodes are only like a half hour long, I'd probably be like, oh, I want an hour. I want all the Star Wars I can get. But
no, you're right.
Watching this, I'm just like, it's good.
Just enough.
Tight.
No, I get why week to week it might be kind of annoying, but like I sat down and watched 3 in a row, and I was like, this is fine. This is totally fine.
I see you watch one, you're like, oh, I want the next one so bad, but at the same time, I like the week in between. Like I like, because I get to savor my meal.
I'm gonna echo that, and before we get to the topic, but I feel the same way about Watchmen. The week between is great. Yeah. I have time to think and consume and ponder and digest and come up with ideas and theories of what's going to happen. It's almost as if anticipation is a good thing.
Yeah, And you probably say to us, "Well, guys, you could have just done that with the Marvel shows." Like, yeah, but if I'm eating a pizza and the slice of pizza is really good,
it's sitting on the stove,
and the next slice is right there,
it's going to go bad if I don't eat it.
I'm going to eat the pizza. So yeah, really, really enjoying the week to week. Runtime's good. I mentioned to you the score.
Yeah, it's
because
fine.
The score felt, and again, this is 2 different perspectives on music. Very different perspectives. You as a music maker.
Yeah.
Me as a someone who just listens. Where it stands out are the parts that caught my attention.
Okay.
When it sounds specifically not Star Wars.
It's different. It's not John Williams-y.
Right.
It's different.
Yeah.
And to that end, it's interesting. It's cool. But it's also not necessarily, again, wow, this is fun. It's also not the Watchmen score.
Yes.
And the Watchmen score is owning my world right now. So, you got to bear with me. The comparison bar is very high. The Watchmen score is everything. We'll get to that. So the Mandalorian score it's not John Williams, but I mean it's good. It's got some orchestral. It is orchestral at its base, really. Can I point out a huge I don't want to call it a nitpick, but it definitely made my spider sense tingle. My Peter.
You mentioned this to me, and I was like, I got to go back and listen because I haven't heard any of that.
Oh, God. I can't not hear it. The Mandalorian big theme sounds like the Rocky theme. It's kind of blatant.
So the whole gonna fly now.
Not the gonna fly now. And not the main, not the dun 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 dun, 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 not that one. The training theme.
Trying to think of it.
You know what when you hear it. I don't have any. I have it on me. But
yeah,
it's.
So not the main Rocky.
Not the main Rocky theme. Not the da da na na.
Yeah.
Not that one. The other one. The training theme.
Oh, the
that one. Yes. I'm animated right now. You can't see me, but I'm animated.
Okay.
Because that one, that line you just did is in the Mandalorian theme, and my brain just went like, "Is that Rocky?" and then later on, another refrain from that same Rocky theme is in the Mandalorian theme again. I'm like, it is the Rocky theme. So anyway,
I have to keep an ear out for it. But okay, so the actual story content itself.
Okay, can we talk about? Again, we both agree it's good.
Yeah, it's good. We like it.
Let me tell you what it is not.
What is it not?
We can get into what this means later. What The Mandalorian is not, 3 episodes in, is unexpected or unpredictable. It's very much beat by beat predictable. It's not blazing new territory per se.
Aside from the reveal of Baby Yoda at the end of the first episode.
Sure. But I mean,
because up to that point, I was like watching. I'm like, okay, this is good, solid. I'm enjoying it. Then like that thing showed up. I was like, oh.
Now I'm gonna talk about Baby.
Yeah,
I'm gonna talk about Baby Yoda at length.
Yeah,
but let me first just say, this is not rocket science. Daring, bold, visionary filmmaking.
Yeah, it's a Western.
It's very much it is by the book, by the numbers. You can probably watch the episode and know exactly what's going to happen next as you watch it.
Which
but
doesn't make it not good.
I was just going to say that. That does not mean it's not good, because it is.
Yeah.
It's done so well, and there's just enough there to make you kind of go be like, this is okay. I care.
Yeah.
I care here.
I don't need every Star Wars thing to be like Last Jedi, where it's making where it has something to say and it's making me question a lot of things that I felt I understood about the series.
Not only
sometimes
that,
I just want something to be just Star Wars.
Yeah, no, I hear exactly what you're saying. It's almost like Star Wars as a whole has been set up. I was gonna say this one way, but I'm gonna say it another way.
Okay.
The Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie.
Yes.
We can agree on that.
Yes.
It is also the worst thing to happen to Star Wars. Let me explain.
Okay. All right.
Because it raised the bar.
Yes.
But then it had a twist so big.
Yeah.
That I feel like every episode of the franchise since has this need to twist, or it has to. It feels this need to make you question everything all the time, and I think what's happened as a result to Star Wars fandom is when something what's happened to Star Wars fandom is over time that twist has just become canon. And canon has metastasized.
Yeah.
And now if you try to do the big twist, people rebel against it. See Last Jedi. And, okay, fine. So now we can't twist anymore, yet we still want to... It's like, we want it to twist, but then when it does, we go, no, not like that!
Right.
We get all angry, and, whatever. So The Mandalorian comes along, and it's like, no twists.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Solid.
It's just solid Star Wars. And hey, you know what? That's working out just fine.
Yeah.
People are down.
And in that, it's giving us new stuff that we're really enjoying.
Yeah.
see Nick Nolte.
I've spoken.
Yeah, I've spoken.
The memes, Carl. The memes.
The memes. So here's another thing I noticed about it. It was a very interesting experience watching new live action Star Wars on a non-theatrical experience.
So you mean how it looks and feels?
Just like just watching new live action Star Wars like in my living room and not in a theater.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm so used
to
that first encounter with it being a theatrical experience that up until about halfway through the first episode, it was almost like, trying to get comfortable in a new car. Like you like the car, but you're not 100% comfortable in it yet.
Okay.
So I don't know if you had that same experience. Where I was just like, this feels weird.
I didn't have that experience necessarily. I was taken aback, and not in a bad way, in that it doesn't look like a movie. It looks like a TV show,
right?
And that's not a bad thing. That's not an insult. It looks like a very high budget TV show. Let's be clear. But it doesn't have super cinematic lighting that we're kind of used to for Star Wars.
Right.
It looks more TV-ish, but it still looks like Star Wars.
Yeah.
And everything still plays out like Star Wars.
And I think the pedigree of it shows because
totally.
The two main people involved in this are Jon Favreau, who just spins whatever he wants in the gold.
We'll talk about that.
And Dave Filoni, who has been, he was the showrunner for Clone Wars cartoon series, which was very good, and for Rebels cartoon series, which I'm going through now, is equally just as good, and is very, he's the best of both worlds. He came from the Star Wars that we come from.
Okay.
But at the same time, understands there is a place for the new stuff to be intertwined with the stuff that's being produced now.
Okay.
And he's very good at what he does.
All right. Well, that tandem is working out just fine on this show. I don't know a lot about Mandalorians. I know that on the Clone Wars they had a big thing, and
right.
I don't know anything about that.
And from what I understand, upcoming in Rebels,
okay,
there is a big thing with Mandalore.
Well, my whole Mando experience here is in this show. I'm learning about them on this show.
Yeah,
and what I gather is that they're a warrior people, kind of Klingon-esque in that they value, their combat ability and their armors and whatnot. And it also strikes me that this takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. Their people clearly look to be displaced. And the Empire raided the planet and displaced them physically and stole their armors and melted them down at a certain point. And now that's over. Obviously, the Empire's gone. And, this lone Mandalorian guy's out there doing bounty hunter
Gone-ish.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah. We get introduced to Beskar Steel.
Yes, it's
so which is kind of like it's the Star Wars vibranium adamantium.
Oh, okay.
Think of it like that.
Sure,
it's their magic metal.
Okay.
It can, if forged the right way, it can deflect
a bolt of a blaster, whatnot,
or a lightsaber. Because the Mandalorians went to war with the Jedi at one point.
Okay. Now, see,
so a lot of
when I was growing up, that's all I knew about them. They were Jedi hunter people.
Yeah,
that's all we knew.
So there was, just going really quickly from what I remember, they had war with the Jedi. Their society then split into a warring faction and a non-warring faction. Then there was a civil war between the two. And then at some point, that, from what I understand, pretty much, heavily decimated their culture.
Okay.
And
so they're kind of tribal?
Kind of.
Different sects of Mandalorians?
There were, Yes, because there was like Death Watch which was like one of the extreme groups, and so most Mandalorians like fear or ostracize those who align with Death Watch. And that was kind of began in the Clone Wars, but it carried over into like the Rebels era. And then there were Mandalorians who started to work for the Empire afterwards. And what's really cool about the design of those Mandalorians in the Rebels show is that their suits, their armor, is the Ralph McQuarrie original designs for Boba Fett.
Okay.
So it's very cool, that throwback they did there. But yeah, eventually the Empire just kind of said, these would be a threat, and that's what they refer to as the Great Purge.
Okay.
So yeah, they are more or less displaced.
Okay. Well, we catch up with them here, and they're, is it Tatooine? It's not Tatooine.
No, it's not Tatooine.
Okay. So Jawas are everywhere. Apparently.
Jawas are not exclusive to Tatooine.
Okay, we've established that. And they're annoying everywhere.
Yeah, they.
Okay.
Yep.
So
listen, Jawas got to eat too.
Yeah, they do.
They like egg.
They like egg, raw egg from Rhino Man.
If it's good enough for Rocky. Again, coming back full circle.
Full circle to Rocky. Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, it's cool. It's a cool show. You get there's just enough there to make you kind of care. The baby. Okay, so Baby Yoda.
Yeah, let's get to Baby Yoda.
Obviously,
we got
adorable.
other things to talk about this show.
I knew from the minute he turned Baby Yoda into the bounty guys that he was going to go back for him.
Yeah.
Again, the show is not.
It's a Western, and it's also Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yeah, right.
So,
so Baby Yoda. We all love Baby Yoda.
Yes.
Let's get this out of the way.
There are theories.
It's adorable.
It is adorable.
They shaved a Mogwai. It's Baby Yoda. I'm going to let it slide.
Pose this question.
Go on.
Is Baby Yoda too cute? Is his cuteness a distraction? Becoming a distraction?
Anything that makes... No. It's fine.
Okay.
It's totally fine. So... let's talk about Baby Yoda for a moment. Now, I'm of two minds, okay? Because forever, my big gripe with Star Wars, well, the prequels made this a gripe, but it continues, is that in this vast galaxy of infinite possibility, everything seems to always lead back to the same people.
Right.
And that's annoying, because you have so much potential to tell stories. So here's Mandalorian telling a new story, and I'm like, oh, well, cool. And then we get to the reveal, and it's granted in a new form we have not seen before. It is something familiar.
Right.
So that part of me is kind of like, couldn't resist, could we? We had to go back to something. And yet, maybe because it's so stinking cute, I'm okay with it.
Just can't hit.
Fine with it. Okay, fine.
We have found something that even the Drew hate cannot penetrate.
I didn't hate it. It's just something that bothers me, and I wish they could get around. But yet, there's clearly a storytelling purpose behind it.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. All right. What's going on with the Baby Yoda? Tell me what's going on. And we're going to find out what's going on.
I am also of two minds of it. Because there is interesting potential for exploration. We know little to nothing of Yoda's species. In current canon, there are only two identifiable members of the species, which is A. Yoda and Yaddle, who appeared ever so briefly in episode 1.
So in other words, what you're saying is there should really only be one member of the species.
There were in the what's now considered legendary canon, I think there were 3 others, all of which very powerful Force users.
Okay.
So here's one potential, is that there is a new member of the species that's been discovered, and as the species has always been renowned as very powerful Force users, obviously the remnants of the Empire want to try and somehow harness that, get that.
Well,
okay, if you're going in that direction, fine.
Yep.
I also heard another very interesting theory that I don't believe will be true, but like when you think about it, it's really interesting. You know, what if the Mandalorian in the title is not who we think it is, but eventually what this thing will grow to become? Like, what if instead of, pursuing being a Jedi, what if little baby Yoda adopts the Mandalorian culture? So, kind of far-fetched, most likely not, but interesting to think about. Here's the other thing.
Okay.
And here's the very dangerous, like, if you guys do this, it would be a deal breaker even for me.
Go on.
The doctor.
Yeah.
With the client.
Yeah.
Did you notice the symbol on his sleeve?
I did not.
There's a symbol on his sleeve that is very clearly the symbol for a Camino scientist.
They're gonna have an army of Baby Yodas.
If you tell me that this thing is a clone of Yoda, and you're just bringing Yoda back, I'm out. Sorry, no.
Oh, I didn't get there.
Yeah. Because there's a couple different possibilities.
Let me throw
it's a new member of the species.
Let me throw water on that right now. Here's why. We just saw Force Ghost Yoda in the last movie. I don't know that we need to bring him back via cloning. You want to bring him back, you can bring his ghost back anytime you want. We don't need to bring him back and you say, oh no, it's Yoda. Like, no, it's not. Clearly it's not. He's dead. So I don't know. Again, I don't know the origins of Baby Yoda. He could be a clone, although that would be kind of weird, given that Yoda's been in hiding at this point for however long, and dead, by the way, post Jedi. Although with the 50-year lifespan of the current Baby Yoda, he would be alive.
He was born prior to the beginning of the Clone Wars.
Yes. So I'm throwing my hands up in confusion right now, but. Just make it a baby of his species, and that's all. That's don't really go just
what I'm hoping it's going to be.
All right, so can I? This isn't a problem for me, mind you.
Okay,
but I want to point out some irony, some delicious irony.
Okay,
we all love Baby Yoda, right?
Indeed,
Baby Yoda, an infant. Mind you.
Yes.
Willingly, actively, and with intention, uses the Force to save the Mandalorian's life in strong fashion.
Mm-hmm. Strong style.
And yes. And we're all here for it. Right?
Shinsuke Naka-Yoda.
If that helps you. Sure. We're all like, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. A young girl, an adult young girl, willingly, knowingly, with intention, uses the Force. And there's a huge contingent of the fan base that is angry. How could she possibly know how to use the Force? She's only known about the Force for like 3 days. Let me stop you right there, Chief. That infant is using the Force.
Yeah.
And you're fine with it.
I think when it comes...
I'm not trying to make a thing of this.
No, I know. I get what you're saying.
I just want to put that out there.
When it comes to Star Wars fandom, you just have to... Really got split into 2 groups. It's 2 groups. There is the, mouth-breathing,
yes.
basement-dwelling...
Yes, but...
and
the rest of us.
Woman-hating,
Yeah.
Worst... Examples of the worst, just don't listen to them. And then there's the rest just like me.
Carl, I understand this.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it.
So,
but my point is...
Listen to people like me.
and I do. But my point is, those other people are okay with Yoda using the Force as an infant, but we're going to get mad about it.
Because it's familiar. It's...
Again, coming back to my point, at a certain point, like, we just accepted that this franchise can't tolerate new ideas,
right?
Because its fan base can't let go
a portion of its fan base. The loudest portion.
Portion. I see what you did there.
1/4.
Thank you for that. I still want to eat that biscuit. It looks good.
That was a real thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was not CGI. That was like a legitimate, that was real.
I would eat it.
And it's food.
It looks good. Force Awakens.
Yeah.
So, okay, I don't want to dwell too...
it's Carl
Mando's
Weathers.
cool. Carl Weathers is great.
Yeah.
It's when he gives the little nod back to the Baby Yoda. Like, this is cool. I'm here for this. I like that the first thing that Mando does when he gets his big paycheck is he blows it on new armor.
It's
as we all would.
I'm interested to see more. I'm not sure how much more we will see of it, given the events of episode 3, where like the Mandalorians have to relocate now.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed seeing how he is two distinct, different personalities when he's out just doing bounty hunting jobs and whatnot, and then when he's with his own kind. He seems meeker. We're getting flashbacks of what happened to him as a child.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see. And I, for one, hope he does not take off the helmet.
If he doesn't like the last episode, fine. But yeah, it's got a Carl Urban Judge Dredd effect where like if he keeps it on the whole time, cool.
Right.
Although I have to say, they do say in the episode that they never take off their helmets.
Right.
How do you eat?
How do you brush your teeth?
How do you guys eat? You probably smell under there. Or whatever. But it's fine.
Smell like burnt leather.
It's fine. It's fine. This is the way.
This is the way.
I've spoken.
Nice. Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte. What year is this?
We're talking about Star Wars with Carl Weathers and Nick Nolte.
Seriously. Like, what is going on?
I really enjoyed that character. Like, Nick Nolte aside, I really enjoyed that character.
It was
hope
fun.
We could see more of him.
I think Nolte added more to that character than I think you realize.
Yeah. We still haven't seen Giancarlo Esposito's character.
No, bring on Space Gus.
Yeah. And I will happily take an entire episode of the client just sitting at his desk talking to different people about different things. Just like
fine. Everyone loves Werner Herzog.
Pragmatic, as you know, bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all. This is all good stuff.
Great.
It's all good stuff. It's a good show.
It's good.
We'll see where
we
it's
enjoy
going.
it.
He's about to be the hunted, and he's going to defend Baby Yoda to the death. And cool. I'm here for all this.
Yeah.
This is all good. Can we agree at this point then that the Mandalorian in 3 episodes has supplanted Boba Fett in every possible capacity in terms of his competency and overall coolness?
I mean, we're kind of in the same boat when it comes to Boba Fett.
Let me throw you this at you. Was Boba Fett, knowing what we now know about the Mandalorian race of people and how they get down, was Boba Fett even a real Mandalorian?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
He seems like a poser to me.
So, because like Django clearly took off.
Was Django a Mandalorian at this point?
Don't know.
I'm not buying it, Chief.
So we'll see. We'll hopefully find out at some point. But yeah, Mandalorian, good, really good.
This is the way.
And the director, they just announced that the director of episode 3.
Yeah.
Her name escapes me at the moment. Significant because it's the first woman to direct live action Star Wars.
Well, give her more.
She's being given more.
Oh.
She's being given, from what I understand, the bulk of the Kenobi series.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick before we get into Watchmen. So, Mandalorian, big hit.
Right.
Everyone seems to like it.
Yep.
Star Wars seems to be in kind of a confused state going forward right now. They don't really know necessarily which direction they want to go.
They know. They got plans.
I let me posit this at you and tell me what you think.
Okay.
Would you, and because I'm pretty sure the fan base is cool, would be cool with this right now, and I think I would be too. Do we just want to give the franchise keys over to Jon Favreau right now and just say, hey, go for it for a little while.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
If you tell me, Kathleen Kennedy stays, who she is there,
sure.
and she tells me that like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are,
they're
she's the admiral, but they're the ones like captaining the ship and whatnot.
Yeah.
I am 100% fine with that.
Okay. So if I say that Jon Favreau could be Star Wars Kevin Feige, you're cool with this?
Yep.
Same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Totally fine.
I think I'm good with that too.
He's demonstrated a genuine love for the franchise.
I think that's very clear.
His love for the franchise translate to what he's been doing, what he works. What also I love about the series? End credits. Every episode. You get those production art shots.
Oh, yeah. The
art is so
concept
solid.
art. It's great. Overall, it just... This is so... Again, it's a nebulous thing, but you'll know what I'm talking about. It just feels like Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I don't know... Again, I don't know if it's the desert planet thing or whatever, but like it just feels right in a way that again,
feels lived in.
Yeah.
That's the key aesthetic to Star Wars. Does it feel lived in?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Mando, thumbs up.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I like it. If I have nitpicks with it, I have relayed them. Now you know what I think of the Mandalorian.
Yes.
People were asking. Now you know.
Wonder what the Razor Crest is going to be like in X-Wing.
The what?
The Razor Crest, his ship.
Oh! You and the X-Wing. Yeah.
Okay. Moving along to Watchmen. So I think we need to kind of step back like we did with Mandalorian and kind of explore where we were at with the series prior to it coming out. Because up until we stopped recording regularly, there was just a couple stills released.
And they were very like out of context.
Yeah,
entirely.
it was the cops in the yellow masks.
That was it.
And that was pretty much it.
Yep.
And we hadn't heard that Trent Reznor was doing.
Well, that's when we did. And that's when I was kind of like, all right.
Yeah. But still, like, you were like, I'm interested to hear the score. That's about it. Because you were never like 100% sold on it, primarily because of Lindelof's involvement.
Let me clarify my thoughts. You're right. I was not 100% on board with Lindelof. However, I did say, because I think we talked about Doomsday Clock briefly, and we talked about in the movie and yada yada. I think I said the only way I'm really going to be interested in this project is that if they do something new with it.
Right.
Don't just adapt the book because it's unadaptable. It truly is unadaptable.
Yeah,
it's a comic book about comic books.
Of its medium, and
it is a comic book purely. So you can't adapt it and have it have the same meaning. So my thought was, do something new, do something original, spin it off somehow.
Right.
Well, Damon Lindelof, who, by the way, and I feel like I knew this, but I didn't fully realize it. He is probably the biggest Watchmen fan in the world. Just putting that out there. If you have a paperback copy of Watchmen, look on the back. He probably has a quote on there saying basically that Watchmen's the greatest work of fiction ever, and that he adores it wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
it's on the back of the book, and I didn't think about that when they gave him the job, but I should have.
Right.
So I was reluctant about him only because of, Lost. Lost ended terribly, and I was forever mad at him and JJ and the other guy. Carlton Cuse, I think, was the other guy on Lost. Anyway, forever angry. However, I had everyone that I trust with their opinions on TV shows and stuff tell me that Lindelof's last show, The Leftovers, is some of the best TV they've ever seen, ever.
Yeah. And
to have faith. And I was like, all right, I will have faith. Well, here's the show. Now we've seen it. We're 6 episodes in. I enthusiastically, wholeheartedly am all in on this show in every possible capacity, because everything I just said it should do, it did. And more. It has surpassed every expectation I had for it, and it's unequivocally great. And I'm let's go. You want to talk Watchmen? Let's talk Watchmen.
Sir, this is more near and dear to you than it is to me. Not to say that it is not to me, but you have a passion for this story and this property. It dwarfs mine. So you go, and I will. I'll chime in here and there. And
I mean, look, it's not just that it's great. It's great, right?
Yeah.
But why? Why is it great? It's great because not only is it a new angle on Watchmen, the story and the characters in the world, and oh my God, is it steeped in that world? It is irremovable from the comic books world. Comic books world, by the way, forget the movie.
Yeah,
because Lindelof clearly doesn't care about that. Well, he does insofar that they poke fun at it with the American Hero Story stuff in the show, which I think is tremendous, by the way. That apparently he's friends with Zack Snyder, which, whatever, fair enough. But just a little prod is great. I love it. But no, he gets it and he lives in it and he is expanded on it. But in everything he's doing is with a clear. Every time I watch the show, everything he does, I sit there and tell myself, this guy gets Watchmen. Like, oh my God, so much happens. I'm like, oh, he gets Watchmen. Like, there's no way you can watch this thing and be like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. No, dude. If everything in the show is like, this dude read that book, he knows it inside and outside. He has thought about this. He has twisted himself over and over on how to best do this and how to make it work and live in that exact same world as the comic, and it's tremendous. Added on top of that, and obviously it's on the nose, but it is what it is. The American Hero Story stuff I just referenced, it's a show within a show, much like the Black Freighter stuff was a comic within a comic. It knows what it is, and it's executing to a very high level. The writing is great, and even just that alone would be enough for me to say that this show is awesome. But it goes even further in the way that the comic was about something, in which it was about a lot of things, actually, but it was about comic books, the history of comic books. It was also about the threat of global nuclear war, which was a major hot topic in the mid-'80s. The show is about something, and it's about you call it a hot topic of now, but it's always been one, and the show goes to great lengths to explain why our culture has gone to great lengths to not think about and forget about this. The show's about racism.
Yeah.
The show is about systemic racism and how it has affected our history, how it's entrenched in our history, and how our history has kind of been subverted in a way to want to forget about it when there's a whole group of people that is impossible for them to do.
Yeah.
And taking it a step further in Watchmen, the show, in the world that they live in, not only do you have the African American population that clearly cannot forget about the wrongs done and still being done to them. In the Watchmen world, you now have the Vietnamese and the Southeast Asians who are American citizens, air quotes, now, after Dr. Manhattan won the Vietnam War, and that's going to come into play. I guarantee that's going to come into play in the show. It already kind of is, and you're seeing it a little bit with Lady True. That's going to only go further, I promise you. Her people were colonized and conquered by a god under the American flag. Don't think that that's not going to come into play in the show. Again, the show was already great on its own, just in the fact that it took the Watchmen concept and it lived in it. It's also a show about something, and it's executing to such a smart and brilliant level. I cannot say enough good things about it. It's just, this is must-watch stuff. And if you're a thinking person, you can't possibly watch this and just be like, you can't dismiss this. It's especially after episode 6. My God.
There's a very difficult tightrope to be walked when you're attempting a show like this that I feel they have done really well with, and that is you are making a sequel to the source material, but how much of the original source material do you incorporate into the sequel? I think like if you go full bore from episode 1 of trying to incorporate a large number of things from the original source material, I think it falls apart right then and there. I think they've been very smart about how and who they've decided to use and when they've decided to use them.
Yeah, right.
Like, we all kind of figured from the casting that Jeremy Irons was Veidt.
Yes.
Was
yes.
Ozymandias. But it's not until...
third or fourth episode.
Fourth or fifth episode. No, like, third or fourth episode where he even says his name.
Yeah.
So you're figuring like, okay, it's got to be him. And then they bring in Laurie.
Yeah, Laurie.
Which I don't think any of us saw coming.
I mean, I did, only in that I knew the character's name before the show came out, and that she had taken on her father's name. But still, the fact that they're using her in, I mean, honestly, they're using her better than she was used in the comic.
Yeah.
And Damon Lindelof has said, I've read a lot of interviews. I've read many interviews with him, as you might imagine, in the last few weeks. He said that he felt that she was shortchanged in the book, and he wanted to fix that. He wanted to give her a purpose and really dive into her character.
Yeah.
And hey, to this point, and how?
Yeah.
She's great. Jean Smart, the actress who plays, she's fantastic.
It's come a long way from designing women.
Yes, I've heard that. But she plays her with such world weariness, and like, she's so over this costume crap.
Yeah.
Seen it, done it, been there, and she is like the woman in charge. It's fantastic.
And speaking of costumes, a off the page perfect Ozymandias costume.
I was so happy to see that.
Crazy.
It was fantastic. We're going to see more of it too, by the way. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Preview for the next episode.
I have to rewatch the last episode because I was in and out of sleep throughout it. It's not that
No, it's fine.
It's not that the episode was boring. It's that I started watching it at like 10:30.
I'm a dad, dude. I understand.
Yeah, so
sleep is at a premium.
Yeah, like it's been done. Like you mentioned, it's been done so well. The new characters are fully believable to the world.
Exactly. The world is everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. I'm having a hard time thinking about how anyone who has not read the book could understand what's going on, honestly. But hey, I hope that they're out there and they are enjoying it. But for me, who has read the book, and clearly for Damon Lindelof, who has read the book, man, it is so in that world. And these characters...
They did the squid. You could sum everything up by simply saying they did the squid.
Not only, they showed the squid.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I was on my couch. I jumped off the couch. I'm like, oh, my God, they did it. They showed it. Not only that, though, but the fallout, and not just like nuclear fallout, the real life fallout of such an event on the populace 30 years later. What happened to the world after that? You've got support groups. You've got like survivors who are just messed up from it. The psychic shockwave, squids falling from the sky, which we'll get into. Just a whole different world. Robert Redford's the president and has been for like almost 30 years now.
Hail Hydra.
Yeah. All that, like, it again, this is the Watchmen world.
Yeah.
And all the people within it are byproducts of all of that. Our main character, Sister Knight, Angela Abar, she is from Vietnam. Mm-hmm. Again, the 51st state. She's from there. She speaks Vietnamese. She has her front cover is a Vietnamese American restaurant. That's like her legitimate business when she's not being a detective / vigilante. Well, one and the same in this instance in this show. Even the minor characters are interesting. Give me more Red Scare. He's great.
You just want to hear him say bro.
He hasn't said it yet, but he's awesome.
He's got the tracksuit.
He's great. I love him. What's up with the panda guy? I don't know, but he's cool. But again, all this stuff is in service to something that's about something. And if you don't know, by the way, all y'all, get on Google Peteypedia. 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 HBO has been putting this stuff out at the end of every episode, just like the comic had backup materials at the end of every issue that filled in a lot of the world stuff. Peteypedia is doing the exact same thing for the show. And oh my God, if this is, again, Lindelof has read Watchmen.
Yeah.
And all of this supplementary stuff fills in all these blanks that could only make sense if you understand the world that Watchmen has created for itself after the book. And it's so good. It's just so good. And again, this is all on top of the fact that this show is actually about something else entirely. It's not just fan service to comic fans. It's about real stuff. And if it's making you open your eyes to, again, the Tulsa, Alan asked, did we know about the Tulsa Massacre? No, we did not. Do now. Oh my God. Follow up with the episode that you have to finish watching, by the way, but the survivor, Will Reeves, Hood of Justice, by the way, tremendous. How could an event like the Tulsa Massacre affect a person in that time, in the 1920s, 1930s? What would his mindset be in that culture, surviving such an ordeal? What would he be like? What would happen to him? Well, you find out, and man, this is just all so good. And then you get into the 7th Cavalry and the white supremacy angle to it. And look, man, I'm sorry, people with their heads in the sand. I got bad news for you. That stuff is real. It is, and it's there. It's here today, and it's scary. It really is. Don't bury your head and think it doesn't exist and it's all make believe, because it's not. It's for real. And to see a show take it on, it's a lot. It's a lot. And if it makes you uncomfortable, good. It should. It should make you uncomfortable. It should make you think. Watch people that are like, when did comics and Watchmen get so political? What? What are you talking about?
Red Watchmen.
Right, exactly. Like, this is the point. And, oh my God, I'm rambling. There is no, much like the point of the original, by the way, there is no right or wrong answer to any of this stuff, by the way.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously, racism, bad, right? Okay, that doesn't even need to be said. It shouldn't need to be said, but I'm going to say it anyway. But it's not like the show is telling you clear as day that the cops are good and the 7th Cavalry is bad. On the surface, yeah, but once you get into the show, 6 episodes in, not really. There's some shades of gray stuff happening here. The cops aren't all good. And the 7th Cavalry, yeah, they're bad, but all is not what it seems with them either. If you are going back to the book, if you are uncompromising, black or white, that's not the way the world works. Rorschach does not work because that's not the way the world works.
Right.
And he has to go. So if it's making you think about this stuff in unequivocal or more equivocal terms, I guess is the better way to put it, good. It's the point. Real life is complicated. It's complex. It's not as easy as just saying this is good, this is bad. There's a lot of gradation in there that we all have to kind of parse for ourselves. And if you're asking questions and thinking about stuff, that's a good thing. And I think the show is doing that. And if the first episode, all those review bombs and all that crap, it's not my Watchmen. Dude, just ignore all that noise. Just ignore all that noise. Watch it and think about it. I can't say enough good things about it.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So, do you think we see Night Owl or Dr. Manhattan
plot stuff
at any point in the series?
Dr. Manhattan, yes, for sure. If we haven't seen him already, wink, wink. I think he may already be a character we've seen. Not positive yet, but it's possible. Dan's in jail. By the way, if you read
Yes.
if you read Peteypedia, Dan is in prison. So Night Owl, very unlikely. Although episode 5, spoilers, by the way.
Yeah.
Vite is he escapes the confines of his prison, and he gets to the surface of Europa, the moon of Jupiter, and he starts spelling out in corpses, mind you, a message to be seen, and it says, "Help me." And the camera pans out, and you see the letter D. Help me, D. Then we cut. We don't see what else was written or whatever.
Right.
What is D? Could it be Dan? I don't know. Could it be Dr. Manhattan? Seems unlikely in that you'd have to use a lot more corpses to spell that out, and time seems to be a factor for old Adrian Veidt. So that seems like a lot of work. Dan is pretty succinct.
There's one of two explanations for how Veidt got there. Either A, Dr. Manhattan put him there.
Let's talk about that. Go
Or
on.
B, he was teleported there.
By whom? We don't know. I think Lady True possibly put him there. In fact, I'm actually fairly confident that she's the one who put him there. I think they had she has that statue of him in her bestiary, remember? Yeah. And I feel like and by the way, if you read the PDPD stuff, she inherited all of his she bought, all of his businesses. And then Veidt disappeared, and no one knows where he is. We all know where he is in the show, but in the world, no one knows where he is. I think that's a little too that can't be a coincidence. I think she's behind his disappearance, and she absorbed his companies, and she's keeping him on the planet. So anyway, the Dr. Manhattan thing, I've seen a lot of talk about that. I'll be honest with you. I don't need Dr. Manhattan to show up in this show at all.
Right.
And I'll explain why.
It almost seems like if he were to show up, you run into the Superman problem.
In a big bad way.
What is he not going to be able to fix?
Right. And on top of that,
what is his purpose of being there?
Exactly. Let's explore that for a second. Dude, at the end of the book, he basically says, "I'm out. I'm going to go." He fully understood, or he once again understood the value of human life, but he basically said, "I'm bored with this. I'm going to go create my own."
Yeah.
See ya.
They want to create the DC universe.
Well, we don't. Let's not go there. I just feel like the comic book character that we know that departed the world. Why would he bother to come back at all?
Yeah.
He's so above it all. Like, what could possibly occur that would force him to come back?
Right.
Now, I'm sure Damon Lindelof has an answer to that question, but the character as we know him, all these theories about him, he imprisoned Veidt on Mars or whatever. Why would he do that? He already let Veidt get away with his whole plan and then left. Why would he bother to imprison Veidt after that? Like, you won. Bye. See ya. Game over. Like, he has no interest in that. He has no vested interest in anything in human affairs, really. So whatever the reason is to see him again, and we will see him again, it better be a good one. And I have to assume it's some kind of catastrophic event that he will have to... He himself decides to intervene again on behalf of humanity. Don't know, just a theory. That's my guess. But it better be a good reason, because otherwise I can't posit a reason why he would bother. He's already disinterested.
Dan. Do you think Dan shows up again?
No. If he does, it's going to be a total surprise. But I don't think so. I think he's in prison.
Talk to me about the score.
It's so good. It's awesome. Look, I'm a Trent Reznor guy. Nine Inch Nails is amazing, and I love them to death. I have forever. But Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross have been a scoring duo for about since The Social Network basically came out, in which they won an Oscar for, by the way. And along that time, they've done scores for a lot of movies, and I've listened to a lot of it, and I find that The Social Network score is great. It's kind of a pseudo-sequel almost to a Nine Inch Nails record called Ghosts, and it works on its own tremendously in that regard. A lot of the other score stuff is more ambient and kind of samey. Like it's, I've heard it. These all kind of blend together. Watchmen is not like that. The Watchmen score is like, it's like a Shadow 9 Inch Nails record, and it's awesome. It's got tracks that bump hard. It's got songs you can pick out, and it gives me so many. I'm watching the show and I'm hearing it, and I'm just like, oh God, that's so Trent Reznor. Like, it's awesome. I love it. And the vinyls, by the way, they're releasing them on vinyl. Here's what's super cool. Each vinyl is like an artifact of the world. So the first volume was from a band, and I'm air quoting band. They were the cover and the liner notes in a booklet with you can read. It's like a story, like an article about the band. They're called the Sons of Pale Horse, and the album was called Book of Rorschach. And it's about this band from like 2000 that made this album that was all based on the Squid Attack and the vigilantes of the 80s. And then they made this one record and then broke up, and one guy disappeared forever. And the guy in the band, by the way, just happened to be the cousin of the the guy in the band just happened to be the cousin of the psychic whose brain Adrian Veidt cloned to make the Squid's brain. This is all in the packaging of the record. It's so cool. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's name is nowhere even in the album booklet at all. It's all in universe. Like this is a record that exists in the show, in the world. It's so cool. Volume 2, I was supposed to get today. My delivery date has been pushed back till early December. I'm rather angry. Whatever. But Volume 2 is the score, the in-universe score to American Hero Story, the show within the show. So I'm looking forward to that showing up as soon as it can.
Layers.
It's great. It's so awesome. It's super cool. Again, I have no idea how a non-fan of the book could appreciate all this, but I am a fan of the book.
Yeah.
And the fact that this is all like happening to the degree that it is, it's awesome. It's super awesome.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this whole thing plays out. I'm also interested to see if they go beyond season 1.
Lindelof said it's one and done.
Yeah.
But if it does well, they could.
Yeah, they could turn in like anthology. And
here's my thought. I think I've been pretty clear about what I think about it and why it is surpassed expectations. Don't just if you're going to do another season, don't just do it because you have the license and you got to do it. You better have something to say.
Yeah.
And you better be capable of saying it. I think that the book itself makes that clear. This show on top of the book makes it clear. You better come with something to say and say it. That's
yeah.
Otherwise, why bother?
No, agree 100%.
Was there something else?
What you got?
Did we cover everything? I think maybe that was my final word. You better have something to say about all this. I think that might be it.
I think because we're kind of at we're pretty much
3 episodes left.
We're at the halfway point or slightly past halfway point of both shows.
Yeah.
So I think probably the next time you hear from us will be when both shows are finished.
Yeah.
And we'll do kind of like a post-mortem on those and just kind of see where we go from there.
Maybe Falcon and Winter Soldier will be out by then.
Ooh, yeah.
Did you see the concept art?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Baron Zemo mask.
U.S. agent's going to be in it.
That's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Cool.
So, yeah, this was fun.
I know.
It's been
a minute.
It's been a minute. It's good to get back and dust off the microphones and get back to this. I know a lot of you guys want us to be back on a regular weekly basis, and we love you guys for that. Unfortunately, right now, it's just not a realistic possibility. We will be back, as we promised. Probably. We will be back at some point. Again, probably when both these shows wrap, so we do like a post-mortem on them. Beyond that, I'm not even sure when the next Marvel movie is.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Soon.
Is it
Hey,
soon
you
now?
know it's not on Disney Plus?
All the Marvel stuff's on other things.
Any of the Spider-Man movies,
Yeah.
including the Tom Holland ones. That.
Go buy the Blu-rays.
Hey, I hear you, but it bothers me. It's just one of those reminders that everything isn't as nice as we'd like.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, folks. We appreciate you stopping by. We will be back again at some point. We hope you all have great Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Be excellent to one another.
Oh my God,
Black
Carl.
Friday.
As you say that, the next time we talk, that movie might be out. Bill and Ted 3 might be out.
Yeah, maybe.
Party on, dudes.
Party on. But yeah, don't trample anyone for a toaster
No.
on Friday.
No.
Just be cool to each other.
Yes.
Have great holidays. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Drew, any last thoughts?
Hashtag TLCD 2020.
Okay. We have spoken.
I have spoken. We have spoken.
We have spoken.
This is the way.
This is the way.